Hi, this is Crudstar, and this is a little something that I wrote. I'm gonna break it down note by note, but don't worry, be happy. Sorry, that was copyrighted stuff. I shouldn't have said that. Ain't right. I was messing around with in Maschine 2 last night. Really, with the Mark III, I really love that piece of hardware. And I was starting to, the way I started was kind of weird because it wasn't creating a beat or anything. It was actually, let me see if I can't solo this part of it. I wrote a whole bunch of stuff and it wasn't what I was intending to do. Actually, let me, it should be originally in here. Sorry, I'm kind of, it was kind of weird. I had like 3 or 4 different ideas of what I was going to do for today's video, and this kind of won out for some stupid reason. So I have a sample. It's got a sample that I broke up. I was messing around with trying to manually slice a sample, and I got a vocal sample that's way down here, but it's got a whole bunch of audio effects into it. So that's the reason why I was trying to figure out how to do it. Let me turn off the audio effects. So I want to take that, mess around with it, and do something with it drastically. So I sampled it up and started messing around with stuff. And in Maschine 2 or Maschine with the Mark III hardware that I have, and I was doing everything over there. And then I was over here trying to think of stuff to accompany what I was chopping up. And I had that. And I kept on just adding stuff and doing patterns for it. And then I got this going. I've been researching and studying kind of funky bass lines, and the bassline pattern is kind of amusing. Is it this one? Really hard to mess with in this one. So that's not the bass line. No, that is. There we go. So I got this little bass line going. I got really hard to see in the MIDI. Let me see if I can't move it to another track. So basically, it starts off in the mid. Let's say, oh, that's sharp. Well, I messed that one up. It goes down, goes up, does a thing, does a walk up, and it does kind of a different thing, and it sounds kind of funky. Kinda. I don't know. You know, the truth is in the ear of the beholder, right? So I took it out, I separated all the stems into each of the patterns, and then I added the voice in. So let me mute the voices. Right, and so I wanted to add back in the voice later on. And that one's kind of wild. So this has oh, I forgot to get turn the other ones back on. So this Arturia Filter MS-20 is doing a lot of work to make it sound vocoder, but it's not. Or at least it's not really. This is just a filter messing around with that voice, and it actually sounds pretty cool.
Nowhere, no life, no life. My world's on fire.
And then, of course, I added some reverb, courtesy or verb, courtesy of ROM, which has a kind of a cosmic type of thing or airy.
Nowhere, no life, no.
Overall, pretty cool. And then what I did is I have a vocoder version of it. And I'm taking in the MIDI from this track, wherever it may be. There you are. I'm taking the MIDI from this track and I'm throwing it into this one under the vocoder here. Vocoder. And I'm throwing in a note receiver that's coming in from this MIDI track, and then I'm throwing it into Polymer with a phase 1 type thing to give it that sound of the vol coding, and then throwing in the same filter again to make sure it sounds the same. I think this thing puts in a lot of work. In fact, I should probably base a video on this rather than, or talk about this, or do a video on this one. This one's kind of cool for making something source material sound kind of cool. In almost a vocoder way without being a vocoder. But realistically, overall, I think I need a compressor or something. I could barely hear those strings in the background when she sings. Of course, they're taking on the same frequency, and I'm learning that, you know, the frequencies fight. And so basically, they're already being kind of compressed, or they're kind of being ducked when she's singing. I could barely hear them. So that means either I got to move them around, or basically she can't be singing when I'm playing them, which is perfectly fine because it sounds like when she's silent, you could actually hear them. And then when she starts again, they disappear. And it's kind of like I'm having them compressed. Dang. Let's do a simple compressor. Yeah, definitely disappears. The compressor doesn't help, but it does boost up the stuff a little bit. So basically, I would have to kind of maybe filter away her voice or something, maybe to allow them to see where the strings are. I do have something that can help me out figuring out where she is versus the strings. This thing's a cool little tool I use every now and then, but what it basically does is it plays both. Yeah, they are right on top of each other, spectral wise. Also, she's up a bit. That's
Nowhere, no life. No words on fire. Nowhere, no life. No words on.
biggest problem is the ear. What ear tiredness or ear? But after a while, I get so out of tune with listening to this track over and over, or this beginning over and over and over again. I want to do something else. Realistically, what I should do is probably do a new section and mess around with something differently other than what I got so far here, and which would be good for the good section. Maybe I work on like an intro or something and move all this over. Say intro of a 4 bars or something, and do something differently. Like, I want to do a SQLAD SQ. This ought to be a really weird intro. No, don't want bass. I want maybe something pad-like. Yeah. Let's go weird. And let's automate this volume a bit. Kind of want a bass or a stop or something that's kind of cool. Let's use that MS-20 filter again, because that would help. Put this back in at some point in the song, but overall, I think transitions goes, it's a little weak, but it's actually kind of blends in at the end, especially around here. Sort of works. Maybe I could take her vocal and reverse it, kind of like bounce about this part out. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. We're going to flip it and reverse it. And then we're going to take this and we want to automate the volume. We need to move this. Yeah, it's a little demonic. Yeah, that trick totally does not work on this in this context. It's a little demon summoning for me. A little too demon summoning. Maybe give like a beat or two, which it's got to be like a bar or something, otherwise everything will be off. So something like that. Give it a little bit of space. Either way, spent probably way too much time on this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I appreciate this. This has been a really weird video, and hopefully they'll get some other better ones soon. Or if not, oh well. It's kind of cool. Trying to share the process of making something, and then, or at least process of having something and continuing to do something and showing off and practicing, because majorly what you want to do is practice until this becomes easy, and it's not easy for me yet. I'm getting there. So anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I will catch you later.